Good afternoon, classmates and teacher. Today, my team and I have the honor to present our evidence 3 of the subject of anthropology, which talks about the acceptance of drugs in society. Let's begin. First, we're going to talk about the impact of cultural diversity in ethnographic research. The impact of cultural diversity directly affects ethnographic research. This is because cultural diversity adds more subjectivity to the research, thanks to the conscious or unconscious opinion of people. Thanks to their different origin from the society that they live in, they can present totally different perspectives from our own, which may differ one to another. In this way, the ethnographic research will be much more diversified, including different points of view in addition to ours. Unfortunately, thanks to the different points of view presented in the research, the steps to follow will be much more complicated, as well as organizing the information. Data to consider in ethnographic research by its cultural diversity. One of the first things that you have to consider while you're doing your ethnographic research is selecting a community and how this problem is affecting it. Since you're using a lot of different techniques, another thing that you have to keep in mind is considering effective techniques and methods, so you will be able to collect accurate and reliable information. Thanks to the large amount of information that you're working on, it's important to focus on something of your interest and set objectives. Also, it's important to consider the perspective of non-native people in the selected community, who make the cultural diversity exist in that community, considering their traditions and culture, and also their different perspectives. Causes of our social problem provoked by the existence of cultural diversity. One of the causes of this problem is the ignorance of people while consuming drugs. Some people doesn't even know the damage that they are causing to their body, and even the great impact that they have in the society, just because they were not taught. Another important factor to consider is the different perspectives of people. This is due to their culture and traditions, in which drugs may not be seen as something dangerous or deadly for society, but an element of their culture and folklore. Another specific cause would depend on their place of origin. In some places, drugs are already accepted and even used. So, if a person with that culture travels to another where this is not allowed, it would cause a cultural shock for both parties. In this way, the person who uses drugs could serve as an influence towards others, convincing others to consume it. Some cases it occurs as an influence exerted by a social environment, friends or even groups. This is due to different points of view that they acquired thanks to their different culture, being a circle that doesn't end, romanticizing them in culture and society. Impact of cultural diversity in the appearance of this problem.
Acceptance of drug is being culturally impact a little bit strong. So it's been divided in three sides: those who are against it, those who support it, and those who do not say anything. Those who support it are divided in two sides at the same time. Those who speak about it openly and try to make it come true, and so the drugs are finally accepted through the whole society, and the ones who hide the fact that they do drugs and don't want anybody to know.
Also, we can see that the greatest impact that cultural diversity has is to create different positions in which people act as instructed, playing a great role in society, affecting it depending on their actions and perspectives. Ethnographic techniques for the social problem study.
These are the ethnologic techniques that we use at our study. The conversation one, that we talk to people so they give their opinion in the subject. The investigation ones, that refers that we search in websites, since it's a little bit difficult to find information about that in our normal day lives. And the team investigation. This is using all the work that we search in conversation and investigation, and we put it all together as the team.
Due to the pandemic, some of these ethnographic techniques were modified. As an example, conversation was mostly written. The investigation was mostly done in internet. Team investigation was the technique that we applied the most. Since we searched and did our ethnographic research as a team, and having an effective conversation was the clue for doing this research. Qualitative research techniques applied to the social problem.
Documents are official texts that help us obtain information about the topic. From the documents, we obtain information and details such as statistics and the current situation surrounding the topic. Pictures and video allows you to visualize the information to have a better idea about the topic. From pictures and media, we registered the conditions and living styles from the same topic. Focus groups are groups where around 6 to 12 people gather to discuss the topic. While we formed in a focus group, we learned the precise information through talking and discussing so we can have a clear picture of the topic. Participant observation is perhaps the most important technique to investigate and analyze. With participant observation, we learn the scenarios in a chronological order.
Problems faced during the ethnographic research.
In ethnographic research, we find several problems due to the different opinions of the different members of the team. A problem that we faced while doing our ethnographic research is that we could not agree on what topic we wanted to talk about in the research, but at the end, we chose the one in which everyone agrees. Another difficulty is that some of us were slow in finding certain information. This is due to the different techniques that were used to gather the information. Another problem that we faced was due to the pandemic, in which we were completely dependent on technology to be able to communicate. Thanks to the process of sharing our information and point of view was much more difficult.
Personal opinions.
We were working on our ethnographic research. We developed certain points of view and different opinions about our selected problem. In our opinion, based on what we found, we were investigating is that statistically in Nuevo León, 6.3% of women have consumed drugs and also 16.6% of men have taken drugs. The biggest impact of the problem is based on the acceptance of the problem in society. Since thanks to the fact that it is being accepted, it will be incorporated into society as part of the culture. In this way, the people who live in that society where the problem is accepted, when moving to another society, they create an impact thanks to their different point of view, caused by their cultural diversity.
Our solution. Statistically, the records indicate that there is a record of 16.6% in men and 6.3% in women that they have ever consumed any illegal drug. Shocking numbers that indicate that a solution must be found to solve this problem from the root. One solution that we all purpose are extracurricular classes given out by the state or schools themselves to educate teenagers about drugs and their effects on their life. Since they are starting a time to change, it's better for them to pick the correct paths. These classes are going to be mandatory and parents are also invited. In that way, they will be able to know more about this stage in which their teens are. This solution will fix the problem from its root, teaching teenagers about the huge damage that drugs causes not only within their body but in society. At the same time, it's important to respect the different points of view of people around us. We have to be respectful with each other, since these different points of view and opinions are what distinguish cultural diversity and are in charge of making our culture a lot more diverse, and it's always very important to take into account the different perspectives of the individuals that make up a society in order to have a much more developed perspective of reality. Importance of ethnographic research for society.
Ethnographic research helps identify and analyze a multitude of features revolving the society at question and attempts to understand the culture and its way of being. This is done not only on paper and on a computer, but can also be done in the field by direct or indirect observation by by the person doing the study with participants of said culture, usually done into different perspectives as to understand the different ways that people see or experience the previously mentioned. The main benefit at hand is being able to document traditions, customs, mannerisms, and many other behaviors that separate the society from others. Meanwhile, another benefit is being able to help solve complex issues within, such as technological leaps, industrial activity, urban planning, between others.
Thanks for your attention.